Hey guys, welcome back to Maelstrom Gaming Studios. I'm Craig, and we've got an exciting video for you guys. We're gonna do a little bit of speculation. We don't do that too often here on the channel, but I think there is a new Tyranid combat patrol on the horizon. We're gonna talk about what I think it could be, some ideas, and why I think this in today's video. So it won't be too long of one, but nonetheless, I want to cover it because who knows? There's a reveal video coming out later this week. Maybe they'll show it off then, probably not, but it might just pop up at some point here on the community. So just want to talk about that. And before we dive in, I want to thank all of you guys for liking and subscribing to stay up to date on all of our content here at Maelstrom Games News. Really helps out a lot. You guys supporting us, members, especially you guys help us out a ton. Click all the fun links in the description down below. And without further ado, let's dive into today's video. So first, before we get into it, why I'm making this video is that there is no combat patrol anymore for the Tyranids on the GW website. It's not that it's, out of stock or anything like that. It is just gone from the Tyranid collection. So you can go check, make sure I'm not crazy, but I checked again, it's not there. Meaning they're probably going to replace it with something else. Tyranid's got to have a combat patrol. Now, I've always thought the combat patrol that was there for the Tyranids was probably the worst combat patrol. It sounds like Space Marines are getting some new combat patrols potentially. Maybe those are going to be shown off on Friday. We'll see. It could be that the Tyranids are also going to get a new one because all these models you get in the start collecting or the learn to play 40k battle boxes, whatever, those beginner sets, you can get all those models or you can buy them separately. But a new combat patrol would be fantastic. So currently there are two rules armies for combat patrol. We have the Varangast Swarm, which is the old existing one, existing old whatever. And then you have the Insidious Infiltrators, which with a White Dwarf combat patrol, there's no box for it. I really hope this is not what it turns into being. That would be unfortunate. But these are the two current existing ones you could play if you played combat patrol. They come out to somewhere between 42 and 32% discount. I think these days typical combat patrols are somewhere between 25 and 35%. So maybe Tyranids get a little bit of leeway being a swarm army sometimes. But these are the two existing ones. Now with the new one, let's see. I'm going to do some brainstorming, and I have come up with a couple ideas of what I think it could be. Will I be right? Who knows? That would be cool if I was. But let's see. So some guidelines for me making these new ones. I am targeting an MSRP discount. Should be around 25 to 35%, maybe a little lower, maybe a little higher. Absolute max, if you put these on the 40k table, regular table, would be 500 points. I think they'll all aim to probably be around the 400s, but we'll go there. I want these well-rounded intro boxes, so maybe they focus on good, well-rounded collections. Typically with the recent combat patrols, there have only been one monster in each one, and it's been a smaller monster or vehicle. So we're going to try and stick to that theme. There's only going to be one monster in these, smaller one, except for one with a slight exception. And really, as you'll see, combat patrols are kind of difficult for the Tyranids to make, mainly because monsters are such an important part of our game plan that you can't throw a bunch of monsters into a 500-point game and expect it to be well balanced. So you're going to see a lot of duplicate units because we only have so many things that are offered at an infantry, low point cost sort of thing. Nonetheless, let's get into the ideas. Idea number 4 is a warrior bioform onslaught themed one. Now I think this one's probably really unlikely, but they've done similar boxes in the past. So this would bring a winged prime back in there and 3 boxes of warriors. You could build them as ranged or melee, probably 6 ranged, 1 melee. And then a unit of Barbgons just to have some other ranged support and kind of flush out the box a little bit. It's about 345 points. It would be good if you're going to be playing Vanguard Onslaught or Warrior Bioform Onslaught. It wouldn't be the worst box to pick up. Not the best price per model, but it would be a solid way to play Combat Patrol, kind of a more elite style one. And then a little bit of a cost breakdown. You can see it comes out to be a 38% discount, which is fine. It fits within the fluff. So that's the fourth one. Not the best one, but I thought of it because, you know, we love warriors. Why not? This one is something a little bit more likely. It's an invasion fleet kind of based list. This one is taken, the idea is taken from an old combat, or what they weren't called combat patrol battle force boxes, way back when they were cheaper and there were less models in them. So what I came up with is more of a winged assault style one. So you've got a hive tyrant, a unit of gargoyles, and again, 2 units of warriors. So really good for Vanguard Onslaught if you make it a winged hive tyrant. You could do just fine with this in invasion fleet as well, because melee warriors are fantastic in invasion fleet. Gargoyles are great in a foot tyrant or swarm lord, still good in invasion fleet. So that's kind of the theme of this one. Cost breakdown, you can see this one not as cost effective, 28% discount, mainly because the warriors are expensive. But all in all, not a bad idea in my opinion. The next one, this one is another more so invasion fleet, as invasion fleet's probably our best infantry based one, but this one's a bit more of a hefty model count one. So we've got a Broodlord, because they haven't offered the Broodlord in a bundle box for a while now. He's going to have a unit of Gene Stealers to go with him, a unit of Termagants, a Biovore / Pyrovore, and a unit of Zoanthropes, because Zoanthropes have never been offered in a bundle box, ever, for the Tyranids. So it'd be interesting to see these guys get popped in there. The thoughts on these guys, it would be fantastic for Invasion Fleet. You get 3 more of the Zoanthropes, and you probably already have a Neuro Tyrant, and boom, that's a great include for Invasion Fleet, or many detachments. Termagants can never go wrong with Termagants, but we don't want too many of them. Maybe they would swap this for Hormagaunts, because Termagants have been in boxes plenty, so maybe that would get swapped to Hormagaunts. And I could see in Combat Patrol, they would limit the Gene Stealers to just 5-man squad, because 10 Gene Stealers in Combat Patrol with a Broodlord can be quite potent. So they've done it before where they've limited what Combat Patrol can have compared to the normal box set. So I could see them limiting 5 Gene Stealers in that one. But I think it's units everyone would want, especially if you're getting started. If this was a box, I would absolutely start with this one. You've got the cost breakdown below, but essentially it comes out to a 39% discount, which is a little on the high side for today's modern combat patrols, but not a solid, not too far out of the realm of possibility. So there's that one. Really like that one. And then for my idea number 1, my one I think they could very well do is this Leviathan Part 2 box. So this one would come with a Neuro Tyrant and a Screamer Killer, because as you guys know, this is a single sprue that they currently sell online. It's like $112 or some stupid number for these things. But I think it would be a great place to keep selling these guys, because while most Tyranid players who started at the beginning of 10th have plenty of Neuro Tyrants and Screamer Killers probably, or at least one, if you started after Leviathan, so in the later 1.5 to 2 years of this edition, it's kind of hard to get your hands on any of these units. So I could see them popping this into a combat patrol, giving you some Hormagaunts and Termagants to go with it, and then maybe splashing in a Neurolictor, because it's a cheaper character that is pretty good in majority tier list. This one would come out to 445 points, which is the highest value we've had so far. And it does break the rule of 2 monsters, but with these 2 monsters being on 1 sprue, I totally could see this being the way they do it. It would be a great starter list also for Synaptic Nexus, because Screamers are actually pretty good in Synaptic Nexus. Yes, they're still slow, but they're still pretty good. The Neurolictor and the Neuro Tyrant are also fantastic, of course. Cost breakdown of this one is 32%, which is much more in line with what GW has been doing lately. And this, I think, if I had to bet money on any of them, this is the one I would bet money on. They already have plenty of Termagant sprues that they can pop in, Hormagaunts sprues, and the Neurolictor isn't anything too fancy. And at the same time, it would be one people could pick up multiples of. Granted, if you have been collecting since the start of 10th edition, you probably don't need this box, because you've got all of this stuff. Maybe you pick up one more for an extra Screamer, but that's not really where they have been taking these combat patrols. They've not really been ones where you want to buy 3 of them. They've been ones where you want to buy 1, maybe 2. And I think that one fits perfectly. So that is it. Nice, short, and sweet. We've got another video coming up later this week. We are prepping for our GT. We'll talk more about it in a later video this week. But stay tuned to that. Stay tuned. Friday, Saturday is when the GT, or sorry, Saturday, Sunday is when the GT is happening. You've probably seen the live stream links pop up for those ones. But I wanted to do something and get something out here today for the Combat Patrol, because it is, who knows, with the reveals coming up later this week, we could see the new Combat Patrol for the Tyranids, and I want to do it sooner rather than later. That way, if I get my prediction right, I said it here first, this is what I predicted. So let me know what you guys think. Maybe you have another idea for a Combat Patrol for the Tyranids. Let me know, and we'll see you next time here at Maelstrom Gaming Studios.